First thing, we find information about the game via scanning, checking our shoulders. We don't get timeouts, so the game is constantly moving and changing on us. Thus, we can scan the area around us by checking both shoulders multiple times per minute. The more pictures you get on the field, the better decisions you can make. This is where we get our perceive, which is our scanning, and our conceive, what options are available from what we see from our principles of play. Here we can see the Spanish center back checking both shoulders as she approaches the ball. She is looking for US players challenging for the ball, what space is available when she gets the ball, where her teammates are positioned, and where they are moving. As she gets closer to the ball, the number of times she scans increases. This helps her pass to the teammate with less pressure, or basically find that open player. Notice how her teammate does the same as she's starting to receive the ball by scanning the area around her as that ball is approaching. She doesn't simply do this once she receives the ball. Because the fullback scanned as the ball was traveling to her, she was able to pick out space and her teammate before she received the ball. This allows her to use her first touch to execute her decision to move the ball to this found teammate and space. Notice how her teammate positions herself between and behind the two US defenders. Here we see a large space available as Spain switches from one side of the field to the other. We may be tempted to hit the long pass to the number 7 or the right wing player. However, note that a long pass will take time to get to your target. In this time, the US left fullback, especially Dunn, will be able to close that space and may even intercept the pass. Note the positioning or the spacing of the Spanish players supporting the player with the ball. They are in their own space between the US players, not next to them, closer to their goal than the US players, still organizing their defense while on offense. This spacing and this positioning prevents or at least mitigates a quick counter if there is a loss of possession. And they are positioned chest open in the direction of play. This enables them to see more of the field to prepare for their next move. This helps with the perceive and the conceive of our principles of play. The player with the ball will choose the high percentage possession-based pass to continue the build-up toward the goal. Here we see how the decision to make the short supporting pass moves the US player into the center of that large space from before. This positioning is forcing the US player to make a decision. They need to decide to press the ball, stay high, and attempt to cut off the pass to the right fullback, or they can hang back a little bit and cut off the ground pass to the right wing. The positioning creates space around each Spanish player involved and enables time to perceive, conceive, and decide on the option to take. Spain decides to play the ball out to the right fullback and up to the right wing. Here we have using space for defense. We see an example from the US using space or creating space to entice Spain into an area the US wants them to be in. The US offered space to Spain to move the ball to the outside where the US is able to pin or trap Spain on the touchline. We see how the US players have positioned themselves to cut passes into the center channel and are covering the forward option. Spain can either try to force the ball forward where the US physical play tends to win possession, or retreat to a support player and try again, moving the ball closer to the Spanish goal. Again, we see the use of scanning by this player as the ball is traveling to her. As stated before, by scanning, she is able to perceive the space and players around her, conceive of the options available to her, and decide on the best action before she receives the ball, thus enabling her to make her first move or touch with the direct purpose of executing her decision. Next, we have an example of organizing defense while on offense. Here we see an example of the center mid positioning herself in open space outside the penalty box. She does this to provide a central option if the ball is moved to her direction and she can help her attacking team. and she does this to prepare for a defensive action or a clearance by the US team in a common destination of the ball on the field. That being, if it's cleared out centrally, she's in that central channel. And typically, as the ball is coming from either the right or the left, it'll be cleared toward the opposite side. We want to make sure that we are covering those locations. Again, this is an example of organizing defense while on offense. Here I want to show an example of the US defense pressuring or closing space quickly, yet defending as a group, or we have defend 1, 2, 3 and closing space as two of our principles of play. Ertz is covering her teammate, who was the first to provide direct pressure on the ball. As we see that Muse did not gain possession and is upfield of the ball, Ertz quickly steps in as the second defender to battle for the unclaimed ball. Ertz is able to nod the ball forward, and her teammates quickly start to counterattack to pressure the Spanish defense before they have time to set. This is pressure quickly on transition, another principle of play of ours. We see the importance of organizing the defense while on offense as the Spanish midfield and defense are scrambling to get into position. Too many Spanish players were forward of the ball at loss of possession. This clump of Spanish players in the middle of the field is of no help in the effort to slow the US attack as they move forward. Once Ertz gets to midfield, she finds herself with a multitude of options due to the movement and positioning of her forward teammates. Here we have attacking runs to four major channels toward goal. Rapinoe in the left channel, Lloyd in the left center channel, Lavelle in the right center channel, and Williams up the right channel. Not exactly fair to have all four of these ladies as your options, right? We essentially see a 5v3 that spans the width of the field. Ertz is able to scan the field in front of her and make a decision based on the space, defensive positions, and teammates' runs. We see four general good options for penetrating passes forward. As stated before, longer passes enable more time for the defender to close the space and attempt to intercept the pass, or at least be able to delay the attack by getting goal side. We see this in the distance of each of the defenders to the projected interception point. Furthermore, the closer the defender is to the passer, the more angle they take away to cut off passes behind them. Thus we can say that with this picture, the best pass may still be to Rapinoe in the left channel beyond the two defenders. Instead, Ertz creates better space and angles by keeping the ball and cutting out and away from her pressure. As the Spanish defenders attempt to close space and chase, they are essentially behind Ertz, and thus she has more space from the defender to make a higher percentage penetrating pass to Williams up the right channel. These final markups are a quick review of last session as it presented itself so nicely in this clip. Lynn Williams collects the pass from Ertz and immediately looks to get the ball into a staging area or the top of the goal zone. We see that the two players in the central channel continued moving forward upfield to attack the staging area quickly for a high percentage attempt on goal. In order to get a shot off on goal, Lloyd could either take a shot with her head as the cross is coming in, or what she attempts to do is collect the ball with her chest. She would need to get this ball down to her foot quickly and before it gets too close to the keeper in order to get a shot on goal. This is much easier said than done, as we see in the video. So thank you for being a part of this session. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave those in the comments below and I will attempt to get to them or make another session about any questions. If you have any suggestions on topics that you wish for me to cover, leave those in the comment section below as well. I look forward to making the next virtual session for you, and you guys have a good night.